And it's another opportunity for us to dissect Arsenal and Manchester United. Aniela smiled there. There's so much to talk about in European football. And so we'll be getting right into it. This is Sports Ultras. With me, Thierry and Oreku Ampofo, and Kelvin Owusu-Ansah, and Aniela Alote, and Yao Ofosulabi, plus Bill Eshen. So it's right here on 3FM 92.7. And remember, you can also catch us live on Facebook on our stream. Actually, you can see our faces and see all the animation in the studio. That is, if you are interested in that. Remember, it's Facebook 927. That's 3FM 927 on Facebook. And then you can also catch us on Twitter. That's at 3SportsGH on Twitter. Of course, we are, or we have put together a Twitter space specially for you. We start the conversation right after this.
3 Sports, the best sports team in the country. Get interactive with us across all social media platforms. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 3SportsGH.
And so straight to Manchester United. Currently, they're in action at Wembley. And it's because of the FA Cup semi-final action against Brighton Hove Albion. And the game just ended 0-0, no goals. What does this mean? Penalty shootout. At this point, it's no one's game, really. But if it's everyone else's. For the neutrals, we can just sit and smile watching very, very pulsating, nail-biting kicks. De Zerbi, the manager for Brighton Hove Albion, he is really, really, really good. Brighton look a very well-coached team, unbeatable at the moment. But Arsenal say they will beat them. Arsenal say they will beat Brighton. So we'll wait to see how true that will be. Talking about Manchester, we are going to be looking at their European exploits while we talk about the Europa League and also the UEFA Champions League. And then we'll be talking about Arsenal's title chances. I mean, after Friday's events at the Emirates, we love it. But I have a feeling Yao will not be too excited because his Manchester United side have not been at their best this week. And so maybe the trolling of Arsenal will be a bit more cut down. Yao.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I feel okay.
Okay.
Because, like I said on the show,
yeah.
I mean, I've already won a trophy this season. And the people who have not won trophies are the ones who shouldn't be. Yeah. You understand what I mean?
I get you, pa.
Yeah, and also about the Europa League debacle. Mm-hmm. I think that game was thrown away in the first leg, and it was all down to Erik ten Hag. Like I said, it was all down to him. If you're leading 2-0 at home and you begin to disrespect your opponents and take the players who are supposed to be making an impact on the field out of the game. And then they equalize 2-2. You have no business going there to win. And so I didn't even bother to see that game because...
Oh, you didn't watch it?
I didn't watch that game at all.
Because, you were in the office.
Yeah, because I knew that was going to be a done deal for Sevilla. But also today, I mean, I think that today they've put in a really good showing, 0-0 against Brighton. Not many fancied...
A very good Brighton side.
Not many fancied United to go this distance against Brighton, and so I think that has been a fairly good game. But I mean, all of it won't matter if any of these teams go to the final and do not particularly win it. And we all know who is in the final already. And playing Man City is always a tough one to either beat them or topple them for anything. City are on the brink of a treble. And
we'll be talking about
exactly.
that. So I'll pause you there.
And so they wouldn't want to lose the FA Cup final. So whoever qualifies from here, I mean, it's going to be strange.
I mean, it's a very historic treble, that is. We are here bringing you sports ultras, but we're also watching the game between Manchester United and Brighton Hove Albion. But for now, let me just let you know about this, because there's an invitation to the opening ceremony and Grand Derby of the Accra World Book Capital 2023. Now, Ghana has won the bid to host the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, that's UNESCO, World Book Capital for the year 2023. The Accra World Book Capital 2023 campaign is aimed at using books and reading to promote positive social change in the city of Accra, Ghana. The planned programs to mark this title year will also contribute substantially to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, that's the UNSDGs, in Accra and Ghana. Now, the President of Ghana and the Director General of UNESCO are scheduled to launch the Accra World Book Program on Monday, April 24, 2023. Given this, you have been respectively invited to the event. Now, part one. The theme is Accra World Book Capital 2023. Date is Monday, 24th of April, 2023. And then time is 9 a.m. Venue, Accra International Conference Center. Part 2 is themed the Grand Derby of Chiefs in honor of the Director General of UNESCO. Date is Monday, April 24th, 2023. Time is 2:30 p.m. Venue is the Manche Palace. Like I said, you are invited to these two events. All on Monday, one at 9 a.m. at the Accra International Conference Center, the other at Manche Palace later in the afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Okay, so while I was, bringing you everything happening, the penalty shootouts between Brighton and Man United have been going on. Brighton have hit 2 and scored them. Man United have hit 1 and scored as well. Like I told you, pulsating, nail-biting, and absolutely exhilarating. But we are enjoying every bit of it and bringing you minute-by-minute updates on that. So, Aniela, pick up your microphone then and tell me how you are seeing this game at the moment. I think we'll just give this a minute's conversation. We'll go into some other matters and come back to this particular game. Aniela.
Terry, I was expecting it to be I was expecting, sorry.
Oh, wow.
I was expecting things to be sealed within like regular time.
Yeah.
I was hoping for some 2-0.
Sealed for who?
Oh, for who else? Brighton.
But your against didn't work.
My against didn't work, and unfortunately, it has gone to penalties. And I was hoping that I'll miss that one in there, but he scored. But all things considered, this will be huge for Manchester United.
The guy coming to play will miss. See, let's put 100 CDs on it right now.
Okay. My 100 CDs. Yes. My 100 CDs.
Hey.
My Oreku, my 100 CDs.
Okay, Terry, let's go.
Oreku.
Okay, great.
Oreku.
100 Ghana CDs.
No.
So,
you score.
So a Brighton player steps up and scores.
Hey, bring 100 CDs.
Oreku lost 100 CDs in a matter of 5 seconds. Oreku, pick up the microphone.
This player has, when he came on, he frustrated his coach through. Even complete a pass. His first touch was poor, and then he has to let him.
Yeah. Back to the bet. 100 Ghana CDs. 100 CDs, please. Oreku, 100 CDs.
You will bring it.
When?
Don't worry, I'll enforce this one.
Thank you very much.
We wait.
The guy got 20 Ghana in my pocket.
CDs. Where the 80 CDs No.
All right.
Relax,
so you
relax.
remember this is
the way he
Sports
has
Ultras. And currently, it's a perfect penalty shootout between the two sides. Sancho has just scored his. But remember, it's beyond the FA Cup semi-final. Guys, let's get into action. We'll come back to this particular one. And so, first is Man United. So, we are still on Man United. Okay, actually, the first is the UEFA Champions League. And we'll be looking at what has happened, in the UEFA Champions League. Carlo Ancelotti and his Real Madrid side battered Chelsea home and away. 4-0 aggregate scoreline. 2-0 in each of the games. And before Aniela picks up the microphone to talk because I know she's ready to do this. Let's take a listen to Carlo Ancelotti, who has been, talking after the game, of course, on the qualification to the semi-final.
It's a fantastic achievement for us. Difficult game, difficult qualification because Chelsea is still a really good team. They tried everything. They played well, in my opinion. We suffered the first half. Second half was much better, and I think at the end we deserve. I'm really happy and be focused on the semi-final. Yeah, I think the save of Courtois was a key point of the game because we finished the first half 0-0 and it was good for us. And after that, second half, I think we played better in transition. We scored 2 fantastic goals with our young players. We have a fantastic young players and a good combination between veterans and young.
So that was Carlo Ancelotti speaking there, and of course he mentioned how Thibaut Courtois' save in the first half was very crucial to Real Madrid getting a result at Stamford Bridge because it meant that Real would go into the half-time break with the result very respectable, and that gave them the pedestal to step on and win the game, Aniela.
Yeah, definitely. Thierry, honestly, Chelsea didn't have what it took to win that game at all. And I think looking at the first leg, going into the second leg, we should have seen a lot more fire from the team. But honestly, I did not see that. I did not even see an iota of that.
Oh, so no, there was.
I did not see it. And I think it's because you are 11, so your mentality.
No,
it's
Chelsea
not
played well, only couldn't take their chances.
I'm sorry,
did you see Kante's chance? Did you see Cucurella's chance?
If you could not take your chances, what was the score line? You know score.
Oh.
You know score. You know do anything. The record will show that nothing came out of it. Nothing came out of it.
I just like how you started the show.
Absolutely nothing came out of it.
Oreku, speak to me. Oreku, your microphone is not a microphone.
That's been disconnected.
Yeah, but you saw the game between Chelsea and Real. I saw you very animated watching that game. You seemed very, very off at a point. You were criticizing your coach. You were criticizing your goalkeeper. You're criticizing everybody. Talk to me.
Heading into the game, everyone had almost lost hope. But for some reason, Frank Lampard still believed that there was magic at the Stamford Bridge.
And you also believed.
Oh yeah, of course. As a fan, you have no other option. The same way Arsenal fans gave him for Etienne.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
But yeah,
I like how Aniela has started the show for us.
Unfortunately, it was the same ghost of our past that came back to haunt us. We create good enough chances, but have never been able to convert them. I thought in the first few minutes of the game, Chelsea really had the keeper saved the ball into the net. That was close. But yeah, I thought Chelsea were quite good. Started the game really early, but it's rather unfortunate that the best chances of the game fell to players that you wouldn't want to, and so you had the likes of N'Golo Kante getting a clear shot at goal. And both of them unfortunately were not going through. I think the best chance fell to Cucurella, and so it's quite disturbing that our best chances ended up with slightly more defensive players. But I feel if Chelsea took one of those chances, it could have been a different ball game because of how they started the game. But for Real Madrid, the longer it went on, the more confident they got, and they showed why they are Real Madrid. They didn't need to play so well throughout the whole game, and ended up winning the game. When they scoring winning by 2-0. In the end, the guys are still laughing at the hair.
He keeps going in the same direction, same direction.
But the Brighton keeper has also not saved a single one.
He saved one into the net. The Brighton keeper, and you see, the most embarrassing thing about this whole thing is that De Gea actually has a paper he's looking on for everybody's penalty, and he still hasn't gotten the direction right.
Terry, let me tell you, before, who was it that even played this penalty? Oreku McAllister. Oreku clearly pointed out where McAllister was going to play, and we saw there go in the opposite direction.
So we were with Africa, we get them right. The person you did
Okay, so Man United scored theirs once again, and this is a perfect shootout, to be honest. It's Vegas that scored his. Carl doesn't like to see this guy, but yeah, he scored his penalty. He just puts it away so well. Oreku, so yeah, I heard you loud and clear. Let's take a listen to Frank Lampard as well, giving us excuses, more excuses.
And at this level, that's very important. We played really well. And if we scored 1 or 2 goals in the first 60 minutes, we would have deserved it. And then the game is on. When they score, then the game is virtually over with their level. So I can't complain about the players' performance. It's good. I've been there a short time, and to see that shows that we have progression. and more progression to come. But of course, in this level, the important thing is the result. And without scoring, we couldn't get the result. And those days are over. You look back and you realise what pride you have playing for this club. So it's no problem. Players have to be motivated. They have to respect the club, and they do. And they do. And I want to see that in their performances to the end of the season.
Jesse March has just killed the spirit in the studio. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. He's missed. He blasted it over the bar. Completely over. The Brighton fans cannot believe it. And Man United have their destiny in their hands. If they score this, Man United are into the final to face Manchester City, and we know who wins. Well, Man United against Man City is not that straightforward.
They are got a direction this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's Lindelof who won't score this, I hope. For Manjari! Oh! I thought he had blasted it. Manchester United are into the final of the semi. Then I'm making. You know, I had to pause. the things I was saying. So Manchester United are into the final of the FA Cup. But guys, I think we'll just give 2 minutes to this game because we have a lineup of things we need to look at. We'll give 2 minutes to the, or better still 5 minutes because of Man City's game yesterday against Sheffield United, and then we'll look ahead to the final, still in the same 5 minutes, and then we can now focus on the Champions League and the Europa League before looking at the other segments we have in the show. But for now, Manchester United have won their game against Brighton Hove Albion. Kelvin, I've not heard your voice, so I'll start with you. A lot of people expected Brighton to win. They were the favourites for this game. They couldn't kill it in normal time, got into penalty shootout, and of course at that time anyone can't win it. So walk me through what you saw in the game briefly, though, because everyone has it.
Well, I think it was a very entertaining game, end-to-end action. I think Brighton were let down by their players upfield, Mitoma, and then I think Danny Welbeck, as well as Solly March. Pascal Gross decided to do a lot of things too many times, and it really affected them. I think credit should also go to Manchester United, especially their defense, Victor Lindelof, and then Aaron Wan-Bissaka, for him to stand against Mitoma throughout the game. It was difficult for Mitoma to get past him until he was substituted, and even gave Mitoma that, do I say, inferiority complex, to the point that when another player came onto the pitch, he couldn't move the ball like we know him to do. It's been a perfect run for De Zerbi's men. So unfortunate that they had to take the penalty shootout to get them out. But Manchester United have gotten this through the grit, and some of us, we are excited that we have a Manchester United Manchester City final, although it's going to be a total walloping of the Red Devils. They shouldn't have gone for
you think so? Man United have a good record against City, though.
Oh yeah, but this final
fine.
This final it won't work. Yeah, it won't work. Yes,
but you also work midweek.
Okay. Don't worry. You hear from the man who has won the Premier League before.
Everyone, if you can, please put on your headsets so you can hear yourselves.
Yeah.
If your mic is off at any point, you would know. I don't have to tell you.
Okay. So you know, it's going to happen. You hear from the man who's won the Premier League before. He's spoken about the two title chasers.
Get to Arsenal, so please,
we are going to get there.
So please don't talk about Arsenal.
So this has been an impressive run for both sides.
You are the only Man United fan here. Yeah. Walk us through the game and exactly how you felt throughout.
So like I said, I thought United put in a really good performance today. Credit to Erik ten Hag. I have been complaining about the man for the last 2-3 weeks, but I think that this time around he has actually shown that with a bit of resilience, United can actually play a fairly good game. And also he promised United fans that United was going to bounce back in a game like this, and I think that they have, which is a feather in his cap. Hopefully United can go on for the rest of the season and do better. On Thursday, United take on Tottenham. Tottenham will be reeling from the 6-1 defeat, and so coming to, I don't know where the game is going to be played, but wherever the game will be played, whether Old Trafford or in London, I expect that United go into that game also wanting some more. But I think that all in all, it has been a really good first season for Erik ten Hag. The bar is already really high for him, and so yeah. But the Brighton game, I think that for once, I have been very impressed with a team that many have not fancied to reach a semi-final. And I think that Brighton showed that they are a really good side. And it's really just hard luck, really, sometimes that, teams like this do not make the final, because you know how it would have meant for Brighton fans across England to actually make the FA Cup final. But I think that they've done really well. Taking United to penalties is not an easy thing to do, and they took their penalties expertly, except for Solimarch, who blasted his over the bar, and then Lindelof scored. But I think that all in all, it's been a really good FA Cup game. United fans will go into the final. I mean, I think that it will be a lot of mixed feelings, really, because if City have a chance to win more trophies this season than Manchester United, the only thing United would have to do is to have to stop one. And the thing is, if City can win a treble this season, which would match United's treble of 1999, it is only right that another team that has already done the treble would be in contention to stop them. And so it'll be a good game. I'm just waiting to see how it pans out. But I can't predict, because I just don't know how it's going to go. But hopefully, it gives us a really good game.
Okay, Aniela.
It's rather unfortunate.
It's City against United in the final.
I can't say I would like United to win, because I know on Warm-Up Plus, I will never let me hear the end of it, because it's already talking about the fact that he already has one trophy, and if he should add this one to it, and I'm definitely doomed. But by the end of May, we'll see what my own club can do. Given the game, I honestly expected a Brighton win, but it's rather unfortunate that on the 7th penalty shootout, March, whose number is 7th, decided to blast it over, and now the Reds go marching on. But I think that kudos should go to Ten Hag. He made some instrumental changes in the game, and some of those were part of the people who took the penalties, and it worked out just fine for them. And so, all the best against Manchester City in the final.
Oreku, United City.
Well, I think it would be an intriguing game. I think it's the first time ever we're going to see a Manchester derby in an FA Cup final. So it would be a good way to climax what has been, a good season for two clubs from different perspectives. For Manchester City, I think by that time they would be probably competing for at least a double or a treble. And then for Manchester United, they've already won one trophy, would be looking to lock down the top 4 and get European football, and then would also try and get a second trophy to match Liverpool's record from last season. And so I think that from two different perspectives, it would be a really intriguing game. I think it will be much closer than a lot of people think. A final is a final. There will be nerves, and for Manchester United, they've been there a couple of months ago at Wembley, and so they would be used to this, and they would want it more. For Manchester City, if they're in the Champions League final, they would have to also have one eye on that due to fitness and all that. So it could play into the hands of the Red Devils, but it's some weeks away from now, and I just think that the prospect of having these two big clubs play in the final, it's a good sell.
It definitely will be a good sell, but to be honest, Brighton have sold themselves well this season, and so it wouldn't have been any bad or any worse off in that particular one. You are listening to Sports Ultras here on 3FM 927, and we have discussed the FA Cup semi-final between Brighton and Man United. Man United are through to the final. But we go straight to the UEFA Champions League now, and we have mentioned Real and Chelsea, so away with that. We go straight to AC Milan, who played against Napoli, and they proved just why they are giants in Europe. Napoli are newbies when it comes to the Champions League. Not exactly newbies. They have been participating in it, of course, but haven't been advancing to this level, as frequently as AC Milan. And AC just proved their pedigree at this level. Olivier Giroud, who missed the penalty in the second leg of this particular tie, but also was on the score sheet as Milan beat Napoli, reacted to the game. Let's take a listen.
Well, it's a special feeling, always tough to win here at the Maradona Stadium, and with this great atmosphere, and we've shown a great team spirit. We managed to put them in difficulties also. I just finished the good work of Rafa also, and I feel relieved, to have the opportunity to score that goal and for the team. it's all about resilience and keep going, never give up and keep believing we're going to get another one. Obviously, I was very frustrated and wanted to help the team, and I feel blessed that I had the opportunity to score that goal. I thank Rafa for his amazing run.
So Giroud praising Rafa Leao, and Leao has been very instrumental for Milan in the last 2 seasons, helping them reach the European semi-final, and it is a really, really big stage. Oreku.
Yeah, it is a big stage, and I think we did mention here a few weeks ago how Champions League heritage plays into the crucial moment, and form doesn't really matter. If you go back a few months ago, everyone's hot pick would have been Napoli to win the Champions League, the form that they were on. They were highest scorers in the competition. Everyone thought at least they would make a semi-final appearance, which was then compounded by the fact that they were put on.
There were times when people said, "What if Napoli won the Champions League?"
Yeah, I mean,
what if
they were on track? They were on track, and that was maybe the confidence within and outside the camp was aided by the draw, where they were put in the side of the brackets where you thought were the best team by far. You look at the likes of AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Benfica.
Yeah.
And if you had to pick one team to make the final from there, I think that it would have been unanimously Napoli. But that's the beauty of the Champions League. It doesn't respect form. It doesn't respect how good you are at the moment and all that. So kudos to AC Milan. They found a way to win. It might not have been pretty, especially after, Osimhen brought Napoli back into the game. But they did what they had to do. And that's what sometimes you need to understand in the Champions League, that over the course of the 180 minutes, it's not about who plays the best football, but it's about who does enough to win. And that's what I think purely AC Milan have at the moment. They know when to pick their right moments, they know when to attack, they know when to defend as a unit, and that's how they used to outclass Napoli. Up next would be a tie against Inter Milan, who I thought were too strong for Benfica. Quite surprising that Inzaghi was able to pull that off. Once again, Benfica had good form, but I think that Inter Milan just showed they picked their moment or defended really well and surprised Benfica. So we do have a Milan derby in the semi-final, one for the books. It's also really difficult to call who goes into the final from there. But I just know that there's a lot of significance attached to it, because if you look at the Serie A table, with Juventus 15 points reinstated, it means that currently none of the Milan teams are set yet or do have a strong foot in the top 4. That's the Champions League. And so potentially we could see the season heading into the final phase with both AC and Inter Milan not locking down a top 4 finish yet, due to Lazio, Napoli taking the top 2, and then Juventus coming back and AS Roma's good form too as well. And so there would be that temptation to think that maybe you should try and go as far as you can in the Champions League to see whether if you could win it, you could also get a qualification in there. So it's not just going to be about the trophy. It could potentially be for a place in Europe next year. So it just adds to the fire to expect from these two sides when they do meet.
Of course, and let me come to you then, because Milan and AC, that's Milan and AC Milan, and then Inter Milan. Meeting the semi-final is tasty for Italian football. Having 2 Italian teams in the Champions League semi-final.
I think that first of all we should give plaudits to Italy for having 5 teams in the semi-finals across European competitions. I think that is hugely impressive, and also even for a team like Juventus that after all their struggles this season, they still made it to a semi-final of an European competition. But I think that the Milan derby in the semi-final will be a cracking game. This will be the first time they'll face in the semi-final since 2003, and I don't know, but the thing is, you can't separate these 2 Milan teams. It's like whoever wants it more would get it, and that's what it's looking like at the moment. And also, given how Inter struggled to take the title off AC last season, and AC just pipping them to the title and having to lose a fair bit of games to AC in the Serie A, they would be spiced up for this competition, and it will help if a player like Lukaku, with all his experience, decides to play a really good game on that day. Milan will also need Giroud on top of his game as well, because he is arguably their most experienced player. But funny enough, Milan also have Divock Origi, who has tasted semi-final in the UEFA Champions League before. He's actually won it before, and so he would also give them that edge going into a game like this. And so I don't think that there will be too much to divide these two teams. But if you ask me to predict, I don't know if I can predict. But
try.
Yeah, I don't know if I can predict. But I think that, the first leg, and funny thing is they're going to be playing the same stadium. So they play in the same stadium twice.
You know, in the peak Italian days in the Champions League, these things happen.
Yeah.
Where AC have to play a Champions League on Tuesday, and then Inter have to play theirs on a Wednesday, and it's the same stadium.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like two weeks apart, and then you guys come to the same stadium again. And I mean, what kind of motivation are you going to get? It's like if you know that these guys are traveling to Spain or they are traveling to your stadium, you know that my fans are going to do this. But it's the same number of fans for the two games. So what are you going to do?
What I know
that's
is that the quota is split. So it's 60-40. Depending on who is playing at home.
Yeah.
So, but I can still change my colors and I can still change my jersey.
Of course.
Anyway.
So it's going to be a really tough game between the two. But let's just see how it goes. I think that Stefano Pioli has been really good with his tactics this season.
Okay.
And maybe, just maybe, he should get one over Inter in this competition.
Right. While we talk about the Champions League, let's not forget that the favorites for this season, alongside Real Madrid, is Manchester City. They played a very, very professional game at Allianz Arena. They actually took the lead, could have won that game, but a late penalty for Bayern Munich meant that Bayern would not lose at home. Thomas Tuchel is in all sorts of problems. We'll be discussing him later. But last midweek, it wasn't good. And, of course, very pleasant for Pep Guardiola, who would now be talking about the fact that his Manchester City side, are once again in a European semi-final. They are that good.
And we were focused a lot what you have to do to try to not just control the games, punish them or try to score. Of course, come here to win the game. I don't understand the game. For the fact we are here in Munich against one of the most prestigious historical in this competition, more trophies, and I don't understand the situation that come here just to defend something. We come here to play one football game, 11 men against 11 men that we try to do better than the opponent in this specific game. If you think about just the result, or what we have to do or we have done in the past will be a big mistake for us. We have to do our game, and that as we talk these last days, and we prepare the game for that reason.
English is not his forte, you know that. So when he says 11 men, you forgive him. Because the thing is, he has a lot more money than all of us combined. He has money than my whole family.
It's 11 men.
Pep Guardiola has money than my whole family. So 11 men is 11 men. He redefines English for me. Kelvin, I'll give you the take on Manchester City and the fact that they beat Bayern Munich on this particular tie, or in that tie, and advance to the semi-final to face Real Madrid, of all teams.
Well, I was surprised how the game panned out, especially for Manchester City and the experience of Bayern Munich that we had seen. I thought that at the Allianz Arena they were going to be a bit more dominant, but Pep Guardiola went into the game to just frustrate them and then make sure that he had the result that he had. It's going to be a big one for Pep Guardiola, the third consecutive time he's making the semi-finals with Manchester City, and for the 10th time in his career as a manager in the Champions League. He did it with Bayern, he did it with Barcelona, and now with Manchester City getting into the semi-finals. This could probably be the best time for him to claim the title, because you look at the other side of the draw, and should he get past Real Madrid, I don't see any of Inter or AC standing before him to win the title. But this is Pep Guardiola. When it gets to the big occasions, he fails, just like he did in that final between himself and Chelsea. Even with the side that he played against Real Madrid last season, many were expecting that, come on, this was a Madrid team with very little experience, that you could probably capitalize on it. Despite you could have Luka Modric and the likes in there, but you look at a number of them. Eder Militao, you look at the players in there, Camavinga, Aurelien Tchouameni, and they weren't players that should have been overly dominant. Vinicius Junior should have been overly dominant over Manchester City's team, but with that pedigree, that Real Madrid had, they managed to sail through. And I am thinking the same thing again. We've always spoken about the Champions League and how it favors the clubs with pedigree and the heritage.
Yeah.
And as some of my friends, there's this friend of mine who would always say, the Champions League is only real with Madrid. Yeah, yes, it is only real with Madrid. They are 14-time champions, and Carlo Ancelotti was the man who broke the jinx in winning them the La Decima. And when he returned, he won it again. This is his last season with Real Madrid because he's moving out. The speculated move to coach the Seleção.
Yeah.
He would want to live on a higher plus because it doesn't look like he's going to win the La Liga. So if he wins the Champions League and he adds the Copa del Rey, he knows that he's done a very decent job at that is Real Madrid. So it's going to be very tough for Pep Guardiola unless there is something genius he's going to do to make sure that he thwarts the efforts of Real Madrid. But this is a Real Madrid team. When you try to cut out Karim Benzema, there is Vinicius Jr.
Yeah.
On a day Vinicius decides not to shine, Rodrigo steps up. On a day Rodrigo decides not to step up, you have Fede Valverde coming in from somewhere. On a day Fede Valverde decides not to play well, you have a Luka Modric from somewhere. On a day Real Madrid don't have their regular fullbacks, you have Eduardo Camavinga in there. So it gets difficult. You don't know which of the players in Madrid to stop. And that is why I see it as going into the game, the pedigree, the tradition, and then what the Champions League is about goes in favor of Real Madrid. But Pep still has this one to lose.
All right. So that's it with the Champions League. We go straight to the UEFA Europa League. And it gets really interesting there as well. Because after the 2-2 draw at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Sevilla, a lot of people expected that Ten Hag was going to bring on his A game, things would change in Spain. Nah. Sevilla annihilated Man United there, 3-0.
Terry, you are missing the words. What they said was, give us another La Liga team.
Yes. Another?
Yes, another La Liga team. Yeah, and we gave them another La Liga team. Yeah,
and this time
and they
you couldn't
disciplined
stand.
them. Yeah, Sevilla. It's like playing Real Madrid in the Champions League. You don't talk too much.
In the Europa League?
Yes, in the Europa League.
It
is for Sevilla. It is DS.
This is the fifth time they've made. This is the fifth time I read.
Yes.
The fifth time they've made, the Europa League semi-final. Each time they've been to the semi-final of the Europa League, they've won it.
Yes, and they've won 4 times.
But who else is in the Europa League this season?
Yes, we have AS Roma. Jose Mourinho's AS Roma.
But I think Roma are on a different level this season.
Yes, they
are playing really good football.
There's Juventus as well.
But it's Juventus.
Yes, there's Juventus as well. And unfortunately, I think I watched the game. Oreko, I don't know if you watched that.
But why is Kawa going? Why is Kawa going?
It was just funny.
Okay.
He's trying to charge his phone, but we know the truth. Yes, he's trying to charge his phone, but we know the truth.
Oh. So what's the truth?
So you may think Mourinho may not be able to get past this, but trust me, this is a man who has done it before, even with Manchester United, where many people doubted. If you look at that Manchester United team, Jose Mourinho managed to win the Europa League, especially when he missed integral members of the squad. Remember, he missed this guy, that central defender. Every time I forget his name. Is it Romero?
At Man United.
Yes, Man United. There wasn't Eric Bailly. There wasn't Zlatan Ibrahimovic. There were a couple of players who were out, but he managed to win it. And even with this AS Roma team, in that game against Feyenoord, many were thinking, can Mourinho get past this particular header?
Yeah.
But he has really proven all his doubters wrong. It's going to be difficult for him, looking at how Sevilla have built their momentum going into the semi-finals. But I still think they could probably be the only side that can stop them from winning this. But Sevilla really have a good team. And just like I'm saying, if you have teams with heritage, if you have teams with that pedigree, when it gets to the biggest stage or the big competitions, it's always difficult to play against them because they get the energy from somewhere you wouldn't even imagine, and they would get past you. You look at that game, how Sevilla managed to get their goals. It was just out of nowhere. Look at that mistake from David De Gea and Harry Maguire.
We need to talk about that. I will come back to that. Actually, let me go to Oreku before I come to Yao, because I have a specific question for Yao. So Oreku or Aniela, when you saw that goal, was it De Gea's fault or it was Maguire's fault? I think it's been a hot topic the entire week.
I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
Of both,
people
to
say
be
De
honest.
Gea should have known better. You know your teammates and know their weaknesses. Others say, regardless, you're a professional footballer, you're a top footballer if you play for Man United. You shouldn't have weaknesses as glaring as that you can't control a pass.
That's really scary. And again, we saw the same thing when the very recent Arsenal game against Southampton. Ramsdale in there. I mean, sometimes the choice is just to clear the ball, just simply clear it. It's not now that you're trying to do some Matra and Makwe passes in there. It's not going to help anybody. And when you do that, there are leakages in there, and then you concede, and it's as simple as that. But I mean, like Yao says, he expects the hair to take better.
Why do you mention his name?
Not to mention, it's not a laugh. It's an endearing giggle. Because if he catches me, I'm dead, and it's coming. So this is my time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think that he should make better choices in those positions, especially for the kind of player that he is. And so it was a bit disappointing. But a lot of people like to fault Maguire, but I think more of the blame should be shifted on the hair side.
Oh, really? Okay, Oreku, let me pick your thoughts on that game, the mistakes in the goals and Sevilla's chances.
For sometimes it can be very frustrating as a coach. Imagine.
Sorry, Yao's name. Yosef Enesri.
No, come again with that.
He knows his name.
No, come again.
Yosef.
Yosef.
Yes, Yao.
Oh.
Yeah. Enesri. Yeah, Yosef.
Nah, Aniela, we need to stop you on this name game here. We need to stop you. Oreku.
Yeah.
Come again.
Yeah, I was saying that it can be very frustrating as a coach sometimes. Imagine, working on your strategy and your plan all week. You travel to Seville only to see your team concede the first goal, and it's the manner in which they do it. And it can be difficult sometimes because as a coach, you want to give everyone a level playing field. You don't want to go in with prejudice. You want to give everyone a chance. But I think Harry Maguire just makes it so difficult to pick him sometimes. And I wasn't surprised to see him dropped out of the FA Cup game against Brighton. But I just believe for someone who has the captain armband, he should take a lot more responsibility. And in that first goal, was clearly, it was a result of a lack of scanning. He wasn't aware of his environment. And for him to be that confident to call for the ball when you haven't even checked the environment, it just shows you the level at which he's playing now.
Right, are you sure he did not scan the environment?
No
he
one
did and called for the ball. If you look at the video very well, he looked back and then realized he had ample time, very large space, and called for the pass. So all he had to do was just turn or allow the ball to roll. Today it happened. It happened in the game.
Yeah.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he made that same turn and prevented Manchester United from being in that position. But it was Harry Maguire who decided to just allow things to go that way.
My point is that you don't if he scanned, you don't scan once and stop. Scanning is up until you get the ball, to even after you get the ball. So because positions change with microseconds, they could close you down whilst the pass is coming and all that. And I just think that if you look behind you, there was like a huge amount of space behind him. He just had to let the ball roll, and it was very surprising why he actually panicked. And it just shows that he's not the type of player Manchester United can go forward with. With the type of football that Erik ten Hag wants to play, he cannot compromise on trying to play out of the press. We saw how Brighton were insistent and wanted to play out of the back no matter what happened. Even if they make a mistake, they want to keep trying again. That's the brand of football Ten Hag wants to play. And I think that basically your first season teaches you a lot about your squad.
Okay.
And that's what Pep Guardiola did. After that, he threw away a lot of players, brought in fresh players. Some tried, some were able to adapt, some were not able to adapt. He let go of them after the second season. But that's the ruthlessness Erik ten Hag and his technical team needs this summer.
Okay.
They need to understand that with what we've seen over a season, the sample size is large enough to say player A is good enough to stay. Player B we can work on, player C, no way. and they have to find a way of selling players. Because when you keep players who are not good enough in your team and they don't play, it just disrupts the team chemistry and the flow and the morale and all that. So I think that yes, they might have crashed out of the Europa League, but in the long run, he's learned a lot more about his team that will in the end come and benefit, Manchester United as a whole. Trophies are good, but I think that there's a long-term, attachment to it. You can play badly and win trophies in the short term, but in the long term, where is Manchester United going as a club? And I think that's what Ten Hag would focus on. They could go ahead and lose the FA Cup final and still make top 4. I still think this is a really successful season for him in his first season, and we'll see how it goes from there when he has a full summer and pre-season with the boys.
I think it has, but I'll go straight to Yao now. Yao, please pass the microphone to Yao. And Yao, where would United move on from here in the season? I mean, considering they've already gotten themselves a trophy, they're still top 4 up for grabs in the Premier League. They're out of the Europa League. Now in the final of the FA Cup. What kind of season have Man United had?
I think that after the Liverpool 7-0 thrashing, I mentioned that United would finish in a better place than Liverpool would this season. And I think that, like I said, that result was one of those shock results that you can't make anything out of. But I think that United have had a really good season. The thing is, there's been a lot of injuries. There's been a lot of players who have clearly shown that they do not have to be at Manchester United. But I think that ultimately what Ten Hag has done is to make do with what he has. And he's been able to get the best out of them. And now United have won one trophy, are in contention for another, and are still they still have a chance to stay in the top 4, which is like really good. And so I'm just looking to see what United will do. But all I want to say about Thursday's performance is that like Kelvin was saying, if you lose to Real Madrid in the Champions League, it's not embarrassing. I don't think that losing to Sevilla in the Europa League is embarrassing. What I think though is that losing to Sporting Lisbon, who have never won it, is extremely more embarrassing than Manchester United losing to Sevilla. If you lose to Sporting Lisbon on your home turf and do not qualify, it's even more embarrassing.
Stray bullets. I don't know who wants to chest this bullet, but yeah. No one's name has been mentioned, but someone wants to react.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be sure. Oh, you want to react?
Yeah, I think.
You said no.
No reaction. No, I'm just giving a heads up on what Oreko spoke about. That is Maguire, and that. For me, I think if as a professional player, the essence of rondos, the rondos that they do, is what happened actually in the game that Maguire had to put it to effect. Even if you have minimal time and very little space, in rondos, you have the opportunity to even touch the ball twice and get out of a tight situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if a captain of a team can be this useless to send his team out, yes.
Nobody's true.
No, so
Let's be.
So I heard a pundit in the UK describe Maguire as rubbish.
Yes.
And the entire panel wanted to jump on him because they said, and these were their reasons why they said Maguire cannot be described as rubbish. Because they said, you don't get to be rubbish if you play professional football to even become a professional. You're not rubbish if you get to play in the Premier League. You're not rubbish if you play for Man United.
Come on.
And you're not rubbish if you captain Manchester United.
Can you give us the names of those who were?
I'm not going to mention names.
So if you were going to mention the names, then we would have been very happy because it may be Manchester United ex-players who may be doing that.
No,
we've seen
they
weren't.
I can tell you on authority they weren't.
We've seen the headlines of newspapers.
Do you feel
for even the English national team,
that they are
the
rubbish
Three Lions
players at top level football?
Yeah, they are.
Yes,
they are. And they are because
rubbish players.
Yes.
No. You see, they are because of the standard of a team.
Exactly.
You understand? Gallagher plays at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Is he good enough?
He's not, but he's not rubbish, is he?
No, I mean, you see,
Rubbish is too strong a word for that.
I mean, look, there's
Mediocre, fine, but not rubbish.
Yeah, I mean,
are you serious?
So
Vegas is rubbish. Vegas is rubbish. You don't come to a team like Man United and score 2 goals in how many appearances? In about 23 appearances.
Was Falcao rubbish?
Falcao was rubbish.
How?
Falcao was rubbish.
And his time at Chelsea.
Yeah. It was rubbish. That's the thing.
Underperforming translates to rubbish.
The thing is that I'm not. You see, I think maybe Falcao's is a bit harsh, but Vegas, come on, are you serious? You watch Vegas every week. Next season what? He's not here for next season. He's going back.
So Thierry, it's a bit disappointing, but I think it was the reason why, you know, how Manchester United dropped him for this game. And we all saw the performance of Lindelof. I think there are lots of
Maguire wasn't dropped. Maguire was on
suspended.
suspension.
Yeah,
he was on suspension.
So going into the next couple of years, we are going to see a drastic change. I think for Ten Hag, what he's done at Manchester United should be credited.
Okay.
Very few managers come into a team like Manchester United and get the results that we are seeing now.
Okay.
You look at most of the players, most of them were low on confidence. Even now, you look at how Jadon Sancho plays and you ask yourself, is this the same player that we saw at Borussia Dortmund, whom Real Madrid wanted to spill or splash all the money on?
Isn't that same for lots of the players who move from the Bundesliga? I mean, we've seen Claudio Pizarro, fail in the Premier League. We've seen Kagawa.
Kevin De Bruyne
We've seen Kagawa.
Kevin De Bruyne is
He's
from
an
there.
exception.
Lucas Podolski came from there.
But Podolski was
Per
not-
Mertesacker came from there.
Podolski and Mertesacker, don't mention them.
No.
They were okay. No. They were okay in the Premier League.
No, Thierry.
They were okay in the Premier League. Arsenal fans.
No.
Arsenal fans come to make noise about their players.
Was Bastian Schweinsteiger just okay in the Premier League?
How good?
Was Ballack just okay in the Premier League for Chelsea? Was Ballack just okay?
Schweinsteiger, per the standards he set in the German
Roberto
league,
Firmino
did not at any point.
Roberto
reach those
Firmino.
levels
Okay, in recent times, Roberto Firmino came from the Bundesliga.
and Liverpool fans want him out of their club.
No, how many years?
What do you mean how many years? They want him out of their club.
It's because
they want him out of their club.
It's because now.
Oh, now you know now.
His performance.
You people said rubbish was even to a player who had overperformed
It was
and cannot
contextual.
perform today.
Which player?
I mentioned
overperformed?
Falcao, and he said he was rubbish.
Perform for Chelsea?
Rubbish. You said he was rubbish.
I said,
didn't.
No.
Did you remember my question? I asked, was Falcao rubbish? You said
and we
yes.
used it in a context.
Said yes.
No.
You said
we
yes.
used it in a context. No. We used it in a context. For me, I even said Harry Maguire decided to be useless on a day his side needed him more.
Okay.
Almost. As a
It's
captain
not just
of
on
the
a
team.
day. I mean, Maguire has been maligned so many times.
Yes, but I'm even talking about Thursday, where he
Yeah.
could have stood up as the main man for the
Yeah.
team in defense. He disappointed. So all I'm saying is,
we'll move on.
We are going to see greater and better performances from Eric Ten Hag and this team.
Okay.
But here, before we go on, let's just shout out all Tottenham fans who are listening.
Yeah,
There's something we never talk about them on the show.
No.
We need to say
You know.
something.
Today we are staying right on time, just so we're able to discuss scoreboard in detail. So yeah, Spurs will come back on the chopping board, including our own president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You are a Spurs fan. I know he's not listening, but someone should please tell him that we are shouting him out. Okay. Shouts to you, Presido. Hopefully this doesn't force your hand on more taxes, okay? But yeah, so as it is, the pairing for the Europa League semi-final, after Juventus beat Sporting, Sevilla beat Man United, AS Roma beat Feyenoord, and then Bayer Leverkusen beat Royal Union, is now Juventus versus Sevilla, and then there's AS Roma against Leverkusen. Now that last pairing is very interesting because it's Jose Mourinho against Xabi Alonso.
Yeah.
And Xabi Alonso has completely transformed Leverkusen from 16th where they were when he took the job to 6th or 7th in the Bundesliga right now. It is absolutely impressive what he's done. I mean, a maiden season in such a top club in the German football. I mean, it's not a Dortmund or a Bayern Munich, but Leverkusen have immense pressure in that club, and he's done really, really well, getting to the semi-final of the Europa League.
Well, it wasn't easy, Thierry, and I think when he took over the job, many were questioning his capabilities, but I think he's really risen to the occasion, and it speaks volumes for how intelligent he was as a player. You know, during his time as a player, he was just a man you could trust with the midfield. From his time at Real Madrid and Liverpool, even in the Spanish national team, there were points where many would question, why is it that Marcos Senna has had a very good season, but he still play Alonso? It's all because of how intelligent he is and how
he was really good as a midfielder.
And like Thierry, what Kelvin said is true, because a lot of the times we question the transition from player to coach.
Exactly.
Most of the time it doesn't pan out properly.
So another one of the successful examples.
Yes, and he's not just...
because we've seen Gerrard and Lampard.
But we've also seen another successful example. But
it's becoming a complete disaster, to be honest.
By the end of May.
is becoming a complete disaster.
At least.
Which one is becoming a disaster?
We'll get to. We'll
No,
get
which
to him.
one is becoming a
I haven't
disaster?
mentioned one's name.
No.
Why do you feel the need
We
to
want
react?
to know. We want to know.
Kelvin, don't be triggered. Don't be triggered.
But
No, we
Kelvin,
want-
you are becoming
don't be
very
triggered.
reactive
Don't-
today.
No, we want to know. We want to know.
It's because somebody mentioned sporting.
Oreku.
Somebody mentioned sporting. That's why.
Oreku, please pick up. Are you a sporting fan? Are you a sporting
We love
fan?
football. We love football. But
Are you a
No, but
sporting
why
fan?
did he mention sporting?
Are you a
Why did he
sporting
mention
fan?
sporting? There was no need to mention sporting. The question you had asked related to Manchester United. They had nothing to do with sporting.
We're just giving examples for clarity.
This gang girl. Anyway, Oreku. So Xabi Alonso, do you see him picking up the Liverpool job sometime later soon?
The way Jurgen Klopp is speaking, he doesn't look like he would surrender anytime soon. Recently, in his press conferences, he has admitted the faults and the mistakes that they've made this season
Yeah.
as an institution, as in terms of their approach and their players. And I think that he started addressing it in terms of how he wants his team to play next season.
Okay.
So for the foreseeable future, I think Jurgen Klopp still sees himself at the helm for the Reds. And I do believe that he was quite unlucky with injuries this season and would strengthen in the summer and would want to see himself at full strength to really gauge his level. For top level coaches, they want to see whether they still have it or not. And it would only be fair to him to see whether when his squad is fit, when he has, he's brought in recruitments into midfield, if his team performs as badly as they did this season with all these factors in check, then I think that he would maybe consider leaving Liverpool. But for now, I do see him staying. And for Xabi Alonso, he's done a good job at Bayer Leverkusen, but he would want to stay there for maybe another season, especially if he gets them into Europe and maybe see how he evolves as a coach before he takes such a big step to Liverpool.
Okay.
This is 3 Sports, the best sports team in the country. Get interactive with us across all social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 3 Sports GH.
Now we go straight to the predictor, and of course, it's a very, very interesting part of this show. We all love it, don't we? It's where we know just how genius everyone is or not. Last week I won 4 correct predictions out of 5. Everybody else got 3 correct. So we are good on this panel, to be honest. That's a very impressive ratio. Sorry.
Also, our predictions about Arsenal have all been.
Yes.
Nobody-
They've been excellent,
No,
actually.
no,
to the point that they've been too good.
Southampton,
No,
we give them
no,
win.
they've been too good.
We
They've been too
gave
good.
Southampton
Yeah,
a
they are
win.
behind
We gave Arsenal a win
A
over
win.
Southampton.
That's what I'm saying. So they've been too good,
No,
actually, because
Terry,
we've
let me just stand. There's no need.
Why do you need
There's
to
no need for this. There's absolutely no need.
Please it. Your microphone is off, Aniela. Your microphone is off. No violence in the studio. No violence. No violence. Hey, sit. When the show starts, my buying it so. I control how you move in the studio. Nobody can hear you. Aniela. Asna bag bebo. Kawa just knows how to prick you. Kawa knows how to just poke you like that.
We're now about to even display some of our predictions. Nobody is saying that. Why is he mentioning us now? Why is he mentioning us now?
We mentioned the predictor. Arsenal have been predicted a number of times, and the predictions have come to
Arsenal,
pass.
they were never even on the predictor. They weren't.
Okay. You draw against Liverpool, you say it is Anfield. You draw against West Ham, you say it's one of those things. At home against Southampton when you're supposed to. This is the game they said they will win by all means.
No,
bottom
it
of the
threw us
table.
off.
Bottom of the table.
No,
And to think that bottom of the table led you at a point by 2-0 and 3-1.
No, but Terry, the point is that it's because they are at the bottom. That's why they put up a fight. They need to crawl out of the relegation.
So 2 weeks ago, when Yao said that Nottingham Forest will give you trouble, you said
I was
they
not
cannot.
really, I was not really thinking about that.
Okay. Now it's because they are bottom. That's the excuse.
Yeah.
Wednesday to what will be the excuse?
Yeah, because they are chasing me. Oh, this part of the show. I've been waiting.
And
All right, producers, please.
and-
Predictions on the screen, please.
Newcastle too. Newcastle will come.
So
They saw what happened to that St. James. They thought St. James was a joke.
Yeah.
So hold on. We'll get to us now. But for the predictor, Calvin, please raise your head. Because you said Bayern Munich. No.
Chairman, come on, chairman.
Hey, Kelvin.
I actually thought this was the wrong slide because the results are so wrong. I thought
You people will come back. You people will stop laughing soon.
Okay,
Let's continue.
So Kelvin said Bayern. Kelvin's prediction on the Bayern City game was wrong. And predicted 4-1, completely wrong. Inter Milan against Benfica.
Was wrong?
It was wrong.
Yeah.
It ended a draw, right?
3-3.
3-3. Chelsea against Real was correct because Chelsea won. Napoli against Milan 2-2.
It was
correct.
It was
score,
right.
actually.
Yes.
And
No,
then-
1-1. It was right.
1-1.
1-1. It was
1-1.
right.
Yeah, actually, 1-1. Sevilla against Man United 3-2. So you got 2
I got
points.
it. I got it.
Oh,
You're
please. Oh,
quiet now. You're quiet now.
You don't get it. You don't get it.
I got it.
You don't get it.
I got it.
Bilesen says that.
Wait, Terry, how many did Kelvin get?
Two.
Three.
Please go back to
Let's
Kelvin.
go back.
Go back to Kelvin for us.
From the last 3. Yes.
It was
I got it
Sevilla,
right.
Napoli.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Real. Sorry.
Chelsea, no
So three.
shame.
3.
So three. All right.
Oh, give it a clap. Give it a clap. Give it a clap. Give it a clap.
All right. So to build now, and Bayern Munich won, City 2 wrong. Inter, Benfica,
Is there a script?
Benfica. Hey. Ask me what I was saying and I don't know. Benfica and Inter, Benfica. What the? Oh. Producer, you better not cut this part. All right, so let's go back to the slide. So those 2 teams in that game, 0-0. So that's correct for Bill there.
Yeah.
And then we had Chelsea Real correct prediction,
Correct.
but wrong scoreline. Wrong scoreline in Napoli AC because it ended in a draw. And then Sevilla beating Man United was also correct. So that's 3.
3.
3
Yeah,
there.
so 3.
So Bill getting 3 correct. Oreku said it was 2-2, and that's correct.
Yeah,
that's
correct.
a correct result.
Yes.
Wrong in the Inter
Wrong.
Benfica. Chelsea Real was wrong.
Wrong.
Napoli AC
Wrong.
was
0/10.
No,
Yes,
that's
0/10.
the correct score.
Correct,
That's the
correct
correct score. That's the correct score. Napoli
No,
AC.
I'm talking about the Chelsea one. 0/10.
Chelsea always lets
How do
you
you
down.
mark that one alone over
0/10.
10?
0/10.
Anyway, Sevilla beating Man United was also correct. So that's what?
Yeah, he also had 3.
But I had one correct score.
Yeah, but he had
And
1
one
correct
correct score.
score.
But
AC Napoli.
Kelvin, you also had 3 and 1 correct score.
No correct score.
No correct score.
No correct
Oh, so Oreku in a comfortable lead.
lead.
Aniela
Relax.
said that Man City
Relax.
would beat Bayern wrong. Inter Benfica wrong. Chelsea Real
Correct.
Correct score in the Napoli AC Milan.
Please, I say that again.
Correct score. And then Sevilla beating Man United.
Correct score.
Not correct score.
Not correct score, but correct. But wrong score. But correct nonetheless.
So how many correct in here?
3 with correct score 1.
So
Napoli
you
AC.
and Oreku bracket.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Great.
Prediction
great.
machines.
Now me. 2-2 there, correct? Benfica,
Wrong.
Inter Real correct. AC Milan hey.
Wrong. 0/10.
No.
Wrong. 0/10. 0/10.
I got one correct.
Your Sevilla United. Wrong.
I had two.
Wrong.
You had 2.
I had two correct.
So who carries the day?
We are not done. Yeah, it's not.
Y'all self a nursery, nothing.
Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
says Bayern Munich City correct
Correct,
there.
correct.
Inter Benfica wrong.
Wrong.
Real Chelsea correct.
Correct.
Napoli AC
0/10.
No.
So
2 over. So Yao and I are
Is equivalent to the 0/10.
Yes, the winner will come from the debate today.
So no. So meaning Oreku and Aniela were the guys who topped this particular one. But let's please bring up the predictions for the next round of games as it is. Okay, so Bales is up there, says that Man City will lose to Arsenal. Okay, please bring Aniela's before she leaves.
Not necessary.
Please bring Aniela's before she leaves. Yes, Aniela.
Relax.
So Aniela said that Arsenal will beat Man City at the
I didn't just
and
say
we
that.
are we are laughing.
Terry, you should ask me. Terry, there's something you
Already, I'm marking you over 4.
No, you need to have faith as a mustard
Apostle
seed because
Paul.
it will grow.
We are sorry. Said that Brentford will beat Chelsea with 3 so. said that West Ham United will lose to Liverpool very likely. Said that AS Roma will also beat AC Milan on the form they are is also likely. Liverpool will beat Spurs. I think it will happen in that game as well. So that's Aniela's predictions. We'll hold you to this next week.
And I want the Fanta for this one.
You wonder what?
The Fanta.
What Fanta?
I want Fanta for tying with Oreku.
Okay, that we can provide. Thank you very
Fanta
much.
cocktail.
Bill said that Arsenal will beat Man City. I think we can spot the Arsenal fans through these predictions. Also said that West Ham United will beat Liverpool by 3-2.
Hey.
Chelsea will lose to Brentford by 3-1.
That one correct.
We don't care. AS Roma will beat AC Milan by 2-0.
Doubt.
And then there's Liverpool against Spurs by 3-1 there as well. Yao said that Manchester City would beat Arsenal by 3-1. Liverpool
happen.
would beat West Ham by 3-2. Chelsea draw against Brentford.
Too much for Chelsea.
And then there's AS Roma beating AC Milan, and then Liverpool also beating Spurs. Now bring on the next, please. There's Kelvin, who says that Arsenal will beat Manchester City. We all know that's impossible.
It will happen.
There's Liverpool beating West Ham United, according to Kelvin. Chelsea will lose at Stamford Bridge to Brentford.
Yes.
Says that will happen. We all know it won't. AS Roma will draw with AC Milan 2-2, and then Napoli. Sorry. Liverpool will also beat Spurs by 3-1. And that's Kelvin. And now Oreku said that Manchester City would beat Arsenal 4-2. We agree. West Ham United will beat Liverpool. I don't agree there. Chelsea 1-1 draw with Brentford. There is AS Roma drawing 2-2 with AC Milan, and then Liverpool also beating Spurs by 3-1. Let's go straight to okay, mine there. I said that Manchester City would thrash Arsenal by 4-1, but it's very likely. There is West Ham United drawing 2-2 with Liverpool. Chelsea beating Brentford 2-1. AS Roma losing to AC Milan, who I think are in form. And then there is Liverpool also beating Spurs by 3-1. My predictions there. So the predictions of all the guys on Sports Ultras. But remember, you can join us on our socials.
This is 3 Sports, the best sports team in the country. Get interactive with us across all social media platforms. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 3 Sports GH.
All right, we have just about 20 minutes to go, and this is Sports Ultras.
Sports Ultras.
All right here on 3FM 92.7 with me, Thierry Nyana. I've been in the studio with Aniela Alote, who just left. Has other commitments. There's Yafusulabi here with us. There is Kelvin Owusu and Sa Orekwampo for Bilishen is also backing us. And it's been a tremendous show so far. But remember, Ghana has won the bid to host the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, that's UNESCO, World Book Capital of the Year 2023. Now, the Accra World Book Capital 2023 campaign is aimed at using books and reading to promote positive social change in the city of Accra, Ghana. The planned programs to mark the title year will also contribute substantially to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, that's the UN SDGs, in Accra and Ghana. The President of Ghana and the Director General of UNESCO are scheduled to launch the Accra World Book Program on Monday, 24th of April, 2023. Given this, you have been respectfully invited to the event. It's free. Details of the event is as follows. Part 1. All on Monday, remember, Accra World Book Capital 2023. Time is at 9 a.m. and then the venue is at the Accra International Conference Center. Part 2, still on Monday, later in the afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Grand Derby of Chiefs in honor of the Director General of UNESCO. The venue is at the Manche Palace. Now let's discuss, let's go straight into the debate. Now, the question for the day, guys. Question for the day. I have 4 strong men. I don't know who will be competing. Yao has sat out a number of times. I think Yao should pick this one up. Who should win Players of the Year? Or Kelvin, who is supposed to be debating today?
Yeah, Oreku is going for Erling Haaland. Aniela was to go for Bukayo Saka.
So Yao steps in for him then. For her, sorry. So it is who wins. Who should win the Player of the Year between Saka and Haaland? Everyone has 2 minutes, as we know, is the norm. Kelvin, you have to time them for me today. Okay. You'll be the timekeeper. Who goes first between the two of you? Okay, because Yao was just thrown in, I think you have your thoughts put together, Oreku. So Oreku, it's just fair that you go first. 2 minutes. Uninterrupted. Hold on. Has his time started?
Oreku, are you ready?
Timekeeper, yes.
Best EPL player 2022-2023 season. You are going for who first?
Haaland.
Kelvin. Right. Okay, we move.
So good evening, judges. Good evening, listeners. Good evening, Mr. Timekeeper. I'm here on the debate to the motion, the best player in the Premier League. And I think it's good to start from the perception of what it means to be the best player in the league. For me, I think it has to do with impact and influence. And this season, under review, with all we've seen so far, I don't think anyone has been more impactful than Erling Haaland. Now, I say this because you look at the rate at which he's doing what he's supposed to do, and it's not just even, look, he's not even competing with people this season. He's competing with history. With the goals that he scored.
Oh, wow.
You're looking at someone who has he's breaking so many records. He has 32 goals in the Premier League, and that's his level. That's more than we've ever seen in a 38-game Premier League. He's only 2 away from what we used to see in the leagues that they played more games, and he would probably break those records. But with a 38-game league, he scored goals that we've never seen before. If you're looking back at the last 28 Premier League seasons, only 3 seasons have we had people score more than Erling Haaland. No, one was actually equal, 2 was more. And so we are looking at a player who is redefining what it means to score goals in the league. If you look at all competitions, he has scored his 48 goals, and so that's also more than Mohamed Salah's goal tally and Ruud van Nistelrooy's 44 goal tally in all competitions. And then you're looking at a player who has broken several records. You look at scoring 3 back-to-back hat-tricks at home. Nobody has done that in the Premier League. If you're looking at the number of hat-tricks that he scored so far in the Premier League, he's already got more than the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, Didier Drogba, Eden Hazard, and all of these names. And you look at the fact that without him, I don't even see Manchester City having the type of season that they're having, because I think that City and Liverpool were supposed to be similar. They had reached a part where their squad needed some bit of refreshing, but that energy and drive that Haaland has brought. Oh, relax on me.
If your time is up, your time is up. Oh, real cool. Your time is up. Stop talking. Your time is up. Okay, so Kelvin, please begin timing Yao, and then we move. Yeah, your time starts now.
Yeah, I would want to argue for Bukayo Saka.
You didn't read judges.
That's
-5.
Mr. Chairman, accurate timekeeper, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I think that Bukayo Saka deserves to be Player of the Year. I mean, one, because of how he has influenced this Arsenal team. Now, if you look at the kind of age that he is at the moment and how many games he has played and how many of those games he has been able to influence, it just gives you a reason to know that Bukayo Saka is just the best player, not in that Arsenal team, but he could be the best player across range in the Premier League. The only thing is that Bukayo Saka just doesn't have the look of someone who should be a best player, and that's the reason why people are not putting him in that conversation yet. But I honestly think that if a player like let me just find somebody, but I think that if someone like Bruno Fernandes had a season that Bukayo Saka is having, he would have been in the Player of the Year conversation. And I mean, we saw it even with the game at Southampton and how he just got that final goal. That meant that Arsenal still had some string of hope to hang on to. So the boy is young, and I think that definitely the PFA Young Player of the Year will go to him. But I think that the Player of the Year, he should have a really huge conversation in it. I mean, he scored important goals. He's been such an important figure in that Arsenal team. Now, if Saka is not there, you can feel the void in that Arsenal team. The thing at City is that if Haaland is not there, there could be a few more players who could come in and change things. They might not have the same impact that Haaland has had, but they could change things. They could still win games. But Arsenal struggle every time Saka is not there. And that's the reason why I think that Bukayo Saka is a man who should be in the conversation. I've seen a lot of people say, he doesn't even have to be in the conversation at all. I think that he deserves to be in the conversation. And if players are voting, then a number of players should vote for Bukayo Saka.
Your time is up as well. My accurate timekeeper, Kumjaj. Who won this debate?
Did you know Haaland has outscored 8 teams?
His mic is off. His mic is off.
He's a real good boy. What are you smoking? What are you smoking?
Okay, so
all right, so I think very
but hold on. But is it fair that the judge is an Arsenal?
No, I'll be very objective. Nothing is going to influence my judgment.
Okay,
No.
let me hear you first.
All right.
Then I'll know if you're objective or not.
Well, very brilliant submissions from the two.
Okay.
I think he came in late, but I think he did a very decent job on Bukayo Saka. Oreko knew this as far back as Friday, so I think he was very well prepared and he put his facts down. But sincerely, Pep Guardiola has been working without a player like Haaland in the Premier League, and he's always had this impact. He's always had this result. When you look at his points tally for Manchester City, even this season, it's less than what he had achieved in the previous season. So I think even the impact of Erling Haaland is not even felt too much at Manchester City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, City were getting more points, better points without Haaland, but they haven't had the same point. So when you talk
Compared
about his
to
goals,
previous
yes,
seasons.
when you talk about the goals, how impactful have the goals been?
So to you, who wins this?
But for
midfield race?
Bukayo Saka, I think he's put Arsenal on a pedestal. They
So this is your
haven't been-
objectivity.
Yes. Arsenal are top of the Premier League. If you want to have an impact, let your goals put your club ahead of your competitors. And Bukayo Saka's goals, assists, and contribution to the game has put him.
You are the
and his
most
side
objective
up.
judge ever in the history of sports ultra.
So I think Kawawa wins this.
Oh wow! I think on this note, I have to apologize to our listeners. I need to apologize to our listeners for a very unfair, for a very biased judgment in this debate.
No, but I think it's a conversation we need to have. You know, the fact that City have less points this season.
I think that was a very interesting point.
What do you think could be the problem? Because I don't understand. No, I don't get it. Because if Haaland is scoring all these goals,
and it's still not getting them
the points.
I mean, when
that-
they didn't have a striker, they had more points.
Yeah.
De Bruyne was their force now.
Now they have a striker who scores a lot of
Oreko, how
goals.
do you respond to this?
So she has
Well,
Brentford, I know what she says. She has Chelsea.
I think it's about context, and you have to bear in mind this is the same City team that had won 2 Premier League titles, back to back. Pep, if you go back in time, likes of Sir Alex Ferguson, arguably one of the greatest coaches ever, always says that after 2-3 years you have to change things. Once you don't change, your team becomes stale, and that's what we're seeing with Liverpool.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying, that without Haaland, I don't even think City would be fighting for a title this season, because they had reached that type of season where everything drops off and they acknowledge that they have to
How
refresh.
important have his goals been? Has he been scoring the winners, or he scores when City are running riot?
Oh no, Haaland's goals have been really, really important.
Okay.
All the way from when he started against West Ham, where he scored the only 2 goals in that game, and then in the first stretch, he became the first player to score 9 goals in 5 games. He surpassed Aguero's record and then McQueen's record. They used to, I think it was 8 goals in 5, and Haaland did it with 9. All the goals came at very, very crucial times. You don't even have to look back. Just look at the big games against Manchester United. Even when you look at the Champions League, it got to a point where they were saying that now Manchester City are focusing too much on Erling Haaland, and that because of that they are not being good. It just shows you how much of a focal point that he's been in the team. And a lot of people underrate the other things that he does. He actually has 5 assists too. Aside all these in the Premier League.
With all these stats, he still lost the debate. Still, Nanawanya. How can you let Saka beat you Haaland, to this?
Thierry, Saka, they missed penalties and crucial time. off target penalty.
Haaland has missed that Bayern Munich.
But we scored in that game. Mentality. What?
Terry, I think
Judge Ben Okasa saying
Terry, I think yes, with the conversation you all spoke about, these are the kind of things that you need to speak about. And why do you think Didier Drogba is rated highly ahead of Kevin Phillips when it comes to the Premier League? It's because Drogba was impactful in the big games.
He didn't score as many.
Yes, but the bigger games.
But he scored in almost every big game.
Yes, he gives you the memories in the big games. He changes situations. He makes you feel his impact.
He's not your hat-trick guy. He's not your 5 goals in a game guy.
Exactly. That is the
but
reason.
Every single one is important. So you think that's what Haaland is not?
Yes, that is it. His name may be written in the history.
How many goals does Saka have this?
Bukayo has, I think, about 12 or 13 goals. Let's get it right. About 12
in all competitions or Premier League.
In the Premier League, 13 goals.
So 13 competitions. Somebody who has over 30.
Yes, your impact is not felt.
30.
Yes.
How many assists?
11.
Oh wow, that's a lot of contribution to goals.
Yes,
it's impressive.
highly impressive.
If you add,
That's almost 25.
Yes, good.
And Haaland has contributed to what? 37.
Should we add the dribbles?
on.
Should we add the dribbles?
Oh, that was the idea.
It was Haaland at 0.
But unfortunately for you, dribbles are a big part of how big a player is.
Yeah. No, but
Hazard won the player of the season not because of goals.
Yeah, but you see,
simply because of dribbles.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just how impactful the dribbles were.
I feel like I'm arguing against the whole room.
You know, I thought this was going to be cool talk for real until I saw Kawa and the biased timekeeper steal the show. You will not be a timekeeper when Arsenal dedicated ever again. And to think and to think that Kelvin said, I'm going to be very objective with a very serious face.
Oh, but he was objective.
Because he went for you.
He was very objective.
To me though, Haaland has been a better player, to be honest. No. Haaland has been. You see, we were saying far until that was nice.
No, but the thing is,
where there he will win.
No, to be very honest, Haaland has been.
Yeah, he's breaking really records left, right, center.
You see, the point is that I'm worried that City are not. They still after all the goals, they still do not have the same points.
I genuinely feel City had a long bad patch this season. Mm-hmm. They have recovered from that. Mm-hmm. I think before the Bayern draw, they had they had gone on 11 games consecutive wins.
Yeah.
Winning 11 consecutive games before the Bayern draw.
Yeah.
So they are now trying to recover. And the comeback has been great to the fact that they've actually caught up with Arsenal. Let's talk about Arsenal. I mean, I have to be excited. And so let's listen to Arsene Wenger, who knows a great deal about chasing titles, sometimes leading and then losing in the end. So he was talking about the title race and talking about how that could affect Arsenal, especially because of Pep Guardiola.
Fate in their hands. If they win the game, they will win the championship. And like Guardiola said tonight, City is very tired. I felt really they finished tired in the last 10-15 minutes, City. And maybe Arsenal can take advantage of it because Arsenal plays nothing else, just the championship. And they play on Friday night after their 5 days to prepare this game. So physically they could have an advantage and surprise City. That's what I hope, of course, but let's see. I still think we will win it.
Okay, so Wenger says, I still think we'll win it. But before he said that, he had mentioned how Guardiola had mentioned that his City players were tired. But to think that you say your players are tired after actually before a Champions League game, and it told in a game, in Germany, and then right after the game, you use 80% of the same players of that squad in an FA Cup game against Sheffield United that you could have beaten with your second team.
Well, that game was more like a routine training session for them. They were playing on. I wouldn't even say second gear. They were on the last, like the fourth relaxed gear, and then they just had to relax and play the game. I think he's just trying to psych his players' mentality that we still have a long way to go this season. There's no time to relax.
Isn't it rather against the psyche? Because then you you say they're tired. Mentally, you drain the players.
No, that is why the most important players were put on the bench. Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, and then Ederson, the goalkeeper. But for a player like Haaland who is chasing records, there is no way you can decide to bench him and he's going to lose it. He just wants him to keep up with it. And I still think there's too much quality in this Pep Guardiola team. Look at Rico Lewis. He gave him that time when Cancelo was just trying to mess up the season for him, and then Kyle Walker wasn't playing. So he's had all the experience coming into this team. So he walks into the team with that freedom. When Jack Grealish is not playing and you put a player like Riyad Mahrez on there, you are getting your goals. And Riyad Mahrez yesterday stepped up and he bagged in a hat-trick. You look at the defense, and then he has Aymeric Laporte, who just stepped in and played like he's never done before. In midfield, there was a Calvin Phillips. So he's virtually changed the team, put less pressure on the spine of the team, or some players who are integral members of the team, but he has freshmen in the spine. There was Aymeric Laporte in there. There was Calvin Phillips in there, and up front there was Julian Alvarez also supporting. That is Erling Haaland when he was substituted. So it's more like he has a team that has too much quality. So he decides to bench this player, and this player steps in. When you look at the overall games that Manchester City's players have been involved in, you definitely know that Pep Guardiola has players who are still fresh. we talk about De Bruyne playing too many games, but you look at his minutes and the number of games he's missed. It's not the same as 2 or 3 seasons ago because he's missed the number of games this season. Kyle Walker has been missing games. Emerick Laporte was just sidelined. Even John Stones from the start of the season wasn't so much integral. You know, there were other players like Akanji and the rest who were playing. Maybe Nathan Ake, for instance. But at least even him was given some time off.
I was looking at this interesting statistic where I think Arsenal are the only Premier League team to have 8 players who have played 30 plus Premier League games already this season, and Manchester City have just 1.
And Arsenal, remember, are the youngest squad in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think all of that is just coming together for them. Apart from the physical side of things, I think it's mentally draining to have to think about Man City behind you and then your game. That is why I would have preferred that they have a healthy cushion heading into the title running, because now you have to be extremely concerned about Man City's results. At first, they didn't even need to think about Man City playing. It was Man City were thinking about Arsenal. But how they've let their guard down, now they have to watch Man City matches. Now they have to get updates on that, and it's just mentally tough for them. For you to tune in to watch Man City and you see Haaland score 4 goals in the first half, and you keep on asking yourself, can we really beat these guys? And psychologically, I think that's what's starting to affect the Arsenal players. There was a report online that for the first time this season, there were Arsenal players discussing how good Man City players were at the training ground. And it just feels like they're experiencing this for the first time. Liverpool had to deal with this for a very long time, where Man City will always go on a 15-game unbeaten run, 16-17, and then they catch up or they end up winning the title. Arsenal are experiencing this for the first time, and for them, it's an experience that nothing can prepare you for it. Nothing. We sit here and talk about it, but it can be really difficult to be in such a situation like this, heading into the Etihad like that.
Okay. Just to put things into perspective for a lot of our listeners, Arsenal have a 2-game advantage over Manchester City and have a 5-point advantage over Manchester City. What this means is that if Arsenal lose to Manchester City, Man City would go 73, and then we'll still have the outstanding game against Brighton, and that's a really, really big game. That's
we have 2 games more.
No,
City have Arsenal have 32 games. City have 30. Even if they play on Wednesday, if they play on Wednesday, it means Arsenal goes on 33 games, City on 31. So City have 2 games.
So even a draw is not good enough.
No.
A draw means it's in City's hands.
Yes.
So I didn't think about. So meaning that if even if City loses to Brighton, they could still go top.
No, they won't go top.
No, hold on. They could still go top because they have another outstanding game.
No, they won't.
It depends on the result.
It depends on the result. So if Arsenal win that game, it means Arsenal will stretch.
No. I mean, I said that based on the fact that I know they will win.
Okay.
Still have to go to St. James's Park. Me, that thing worries me.
It's not just St. James's Park. I mean, they have a game against Wolves.
That game is too hard.
But and they have a game against Brighton.
Yes.
Arsenal played Brighton
City also
too, right?
have a game against them.
No,
but I mean,
I'm not worried about Brighton.
The games you never expected City to lose this season, they lost those.
Yeah,
games.
like how we didn't expect you to draw against it.
Yes.
The same.
So, you see, there's something about Man City in the last 10 games. They'll drop some points, but they'll make sure they do better than you.
Yeah.
That's the thing about them.
You see, the thing is that my problem is that now that they have 2 more games extra, it puts pressure on Arsenal. Because the thing is, even if they don't win on Wednesday, they know that they can still win those 2 games
and still go top
and still close up.
No, go top actually. They win those 2.
If they draw, they win those 2. They get 1 point on top. They go 1 point on top.
No. I mean,
5 points.
No, I'm saying that even if they lose Arsenal, they lose Arsenal on Wednesday.
They have 2 outstanding games.
And then, so if they lose to Arsenal on Wednesday,
and they have 2 outstanding games, should they win those 2?
It'll be 2 points.
They'll go beyond. They'll go above Arsenal.
No, that'll be 6 points.
They'll be behind 2 points.
Arsenal with 2 points.
2 points.
Yeah.
No, guys,
because they're on 5 points right now. The gap is 5.
So now it's 75. Arsenal on 75. If they win against City, they go on 78.
City will be on 73.
And if City win
have
2, then they come on 76.
Yeah.
And then now it's just
same
2
games.
points. You understand?
Yeah.
The thing is that what I'm saying is Arsenal can win against City, but are Arsenal really sure that they can go through the rest of the games without losing? That's where the problem is. And like we were saying, you see, people are thinking that Arsenal-Chelsea game will be easy. But I keep saying that, look,
it won't.
That Chelsea game will be tough.
Chelsea have no pressure.
Exactly.
Arsenal would have, and I think a lot will depend on the Wednesday game.
It will be so tough. And you have to go to Newcastle.
Especially when there's a lot of pressure on Arsenal.
Yeah.
And we've seen Chelsea bottle a lot of league titles
for some other people.
Yeah. And you see, the thing is that You see, whenever a team is in this position, what they just do is, like right now, there's no joy at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So their only joy will be to beat Arsenal.
But let me
especially when it means depriving them of a title.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If Chelsea beat Arsenal, that is their joy.
Yeah.
They will be so happy.
I mean, they've won the
You
trophy for
understand?
the season, but I've been having this interesting thought. I've been trying to remember the last time Man City failed to win a must-win Premier League game in a title race. All their big games.
It doesn't happen.
Think about it. All their big when they had to play Liverpool and they have to.
They have the experience.
Man U.
No, even without Pep.
They find a way. Even without Pep, they are winning all those
all
big
the way
games.
back to 2014. I remember 2014.
Yeah.
United had to play City on the 28th of April. And that win would take them to the title. They beat us 1-0. There was a company header.
Yeah,
and they beat us 1-0. So City just doesn't have it in them to lose those games.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's where the problem is.
And they have the squad in depth. I mean, get to that point. Look, we've been talking about fatigue. We've been talking about injuries. Now they have Phil Foden back on the bench.
Exactly.
And his injury, I mean, he had a surgery on his appendix, and it had nothing to do with, his ankle. He doesn't have to now retrain a part of the body.
Exactly.
He can just come back and return to full flow.
Yeah.
And he has a full complement of his squad.
Yeah.
Whereas Arsenal would have to now play with a very young team with all this pressure.
And you see, those are the pointers. Now, when was it? Yesterday, they tweeted the United-Everton game, that 4-4. And it has been the game that has haunted United fans for many years. Arsenal would go back at the end of the season and watch that West Ham game and watch that Southampton game. Those two games would have taken Arsenal clear of City by now.
10 points.
Then the game at Etihad wouldn't even matter because even if they lose that game, they know that they are comfortable with about 5 or 6 more points ahead of them.
With such a tally, even City who starts, they have the pressure is all on them. They have it all to do. You go there, relax.
If they had won against West Ham, Southampton, the pressure would have been on City rather than Arsenal to win that game, and that would have easily pushed the hand of Arsenal to actually win the game. But now it's in a very, very tough position.
Did you listen to the Gabriel Jesus interview after the Southampton? I was for one disappointed because I thought he's one of the leaders in the team. So to say that, to admit that this is a young squad, there aren't a lot of winners and they are learning, I think it was wrong. Because that was the moment for him to show leadership. That you've been here before, and that sometimes you could even reference City. That there were times where
you
they
are
went
worrying
down.
yourself. Somebody who cannot show leadership on the pitch. They say.
No, but you see, I tell you, not to cut anybody, but I think that it's another good point Oreku has raised. My problem is after that Southampton draw, even the body language of the players on the pitch
felt like a defeat.
It did not inspire. If I was an Arsenal fan, it would not inspire
because
me
it is
anyway.
3 straight draws. That is a possible 6 points drop.
9 points actually. No, by 6 points drop.
Because
That's like 2 defeats.
6 point drop.
6 points.
So the thing is, fine, you dropped 6 points. You know you are still on top, and you have a chance to play City.
Your destiny is still in your hands.
They were hanging their heads.
It reminds me of Suarez Liverpool after the Crystal Palace game.
It's like they had lost
They were
the final.
crying. I'm like, City still had work to do. But the moment you started crying, and I was like, they know they've lost it.
It's like they have lost the final. And those are some of the problems, because now Arsenal players certainly know that with the Ebiana and you understand? And that's the thing.
So that begs the question for me, and that'll be my last question to you guys. Should footballers still be staying on social media, especially getting to the business end of the season? Because you see, a lot of the pressure will be felt on social media when you read all the comments, when you see all the tags, and when you listen to radio and you see how TalkSport are bashing you, ESPN are bashing you, BBC are bashing you. You hear all these things. Should players still be keeping up with updates and all that? Because then I think it affects them.
I think if Alex Ferguson was still United manager, one of the things he would have done was to make sure that no United player has social media. I mean, and even for Manchester United as a club, it was after Fergie left that United set up a Twitter account. And so he knows the kind of pressure it puts on these players. It is tough on players to have social media, knowing what fans are constantly saying about
these comments after every game.
And
it affects the confidence going into the
just
next
before
game.
the Sevilla game, I think about 4 or 5 games before the Sevilla game, every press conference that Maguire spoke at, he kept jabbing fans, saying that people say a lot of things about him, but he has not lost.
Why are you reading? Why are
he
you
has
listening?
not lost with United. You remember those comments? He has not lost with United, and he doesn't know why. When you read those things, it affects you because you are trying to prove people wrong. You are trying to do things that maybe your abilities are not there and stuff like that. I think that right now what Arsenal players need to do is to just keep themselves together. They should just be there for each other and be strong mentally, knowing that they can just go on and do it. I don't think that this thing is really difficult for Arsenal. Arsenal can win all their games from now up until the end of the season.
Okay.
The only thing is that they all just need to show a bit more character in how they approach games, in how they manage the games, to be honest. Because, look, that Southampton game was a clear reflection of the fact that Arsenal players did not manage that game properly. At 2-1, after half-time, what you do is that you know that these guys try to attack very early on in either half. So you try to be compact in defense at that time so that when it gets to like 60, 70 minutes, you start to pile the pressure on them, you equalize. But it was around that time that they conceded a third goal, and then it became an uphill task. So I think that, you know, Arsenal fans just need to Arsenal fans need to be proud of themselves this season.
In the first place.
I mean, the thing is, they will laugh at you, but it's normal for fans to laugh at you. But I think Arsenal fans need to
this
be proud.
This squad didn't belong at the top of
I didn't put them in my
standings,
top 4 at the start of the season. So
Okay, so at this point, we are going to be wrapping up. This has been Sports Ultras. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Theo Winyan. I've been here with Yabusula B, Ore Kwampofo, Kelvin Osu, and Sanyela Alote. Billy Shen has also been backing us very strongly. And then Michael has also been running all the digital spaces for us. So thank you very much to you, the listeners. Well, but finally, before I go, remember Ghana has won the bid to host the United Nations